right, guys, thank you so much for coming. I know social media, for something so young, it has made such a huge splash. Just think 15 years ago, no one would have even thought about any of this kind of stuff. But here it is. It's huge. It's changed in complexity from being, just something a few friends on a Harvard campus were tossing around to something that's over 1.2 billion people are involved in social media. And it can be a little daunting. And so to kind of help make it a little bit more fun, I kind of thought about those three words, young, complex, and daunting. And when I think of those three words, I think of high school. So I'm going to try to tie everything into high school to kind of make it a little bit easier. For some of us, we may never want to remember high school. It was a very traumatic time for us. But so for some of us, it was a great time, and we loved it to death. We'd go back if we could. I'm not that person. But hopefully just by using that is going to make it a lot easier for us to track with. I do want to let you know that you will find all my notes, all my references on my company blog. So if you're like, where did you get that number from? You can find it there. And also I go into a little bit more detail into some of the things that I can't right now just because of time constraints. So if you, feel like it, please drop by and you can get some more info there. All right. High school mentality. We all remember it well. And I think one of the things about high school mentality that we can learn from when it comes to social media is that high schoolers are often not very forward thinking. In fact, it's a very short thing. I remember when my mom or my dad would talk to me about homework and having to get it done, one of my common responses was, why? I'm never going to use this stuff. When I get a job, I'm not going to be doing algebra or geometry. Why do I need to learn this? This is pointless. And I think and the answer is that I think a lot of our parents gave this was, well, you need to know it right now. And I think that's what social media is. Yes, 30, 40 years from now, we may not be doing social media. Maybe 10 years from now, we may not be doing social media. But what works now, we need to do now. And that's kind of my big tip on that. Do now what works now. And we apply this to most other things in our life. When you think about, getting a new car, you're not like, well, in 30 years, we're going to be driving hover cars, so I better wait for that. You drive what works now. And so, and I want to give you some statistics quickly on social media. We have 1.2 billion Facebook users, 2.5 million websites incorporate Facebook. Whoa, I'm all over the place, sorry. Incorporate Facebook, and there are 500 million Twitter users. So we have a lot of people engaged in social media. This is not some narrow trend. This is everyone's really involved in this. 81% of people are influenced by the posts of their friends. This is taking word of mouth and just blowing it up. It used to be where, you go to a restaurant, you have an experience, and you talk to like 10 people, and then that's it. Now, you post that, and you have 600 people who immediately know whether this is a restaurant I should ever go to again or not. So the reach is much higher. And people are even influenced by corporate posts, 78%. And then we have a $4.8 million in spent in social media spending just in 2012, and that's projected to go to 5.9 in 2013. And you can see where I got my statistics from. So this is, this is not just some here today, gone tomorrow. Social media is here. And just to come back to the point of we need to make sure that we, we don't put off things that are in the future. I kind of thought about the future car. I may drive this one day, but I'm still going to, drive what I have now. This may be my computer in the future, but I'm still going to get a regular computer now. This may be my girlfriend in the future.
Don't tell the one you have now.
That was probably the least likely of all the ones to occur. But, you got to focus on the now. So. All right. The second thing I wanted to talk about was fans and followers, because this is the thing I think that we all kind of jump to first is fans and followers, because it is a little bit more concrete, it's a little bit more tangible, measurable, and so and I kind of equate that to the homecoming queen and king. You know, we all remember the homecoming king and queen, and what a great feeling that was. Do we have any homecoming kings or queens with us today? No? Okay. I wasn't either, so, you know. So I guess we can make fun of them pretty safely then. But with social media, we all think, oh, I got to get more fans, I got to get more followers, I got to get more people to like me, and that's kind of the mantra that we all carry in the social media. And really, there's a lot more to it. And in fact, because of that, maybe our posts kind of look like this. You know, we've got the little snippet right there, but really it's all about like, and I did clean this up a little bit. It did use some more colorful language, so when you see the blocks spaced out there, that's why. You know, don't go to this website with your kids. But you know, that's kind of how we use our social media. We have it. It's just all about likes, and we really don't focus as much on just what is the content itself. We're just like me. And the homecoming queen and the homecoming king, they get that title and that position for a reason. Because for some reason, people feel like that person adds value to their lives, even if the value is just primo gossip fodder. And so I don't recommend trying to come up with scandalous ways to build up your social media presence, trying to give them some juicy insider tips on what's going on inside your company. But that's kind of what not to do in your social media efforts. But here's what you do want to look for is how you stack up and knowing that getting liked is the beginning, not the end. So once you have them, that's when the real work begins, is, okay, now I've got them, how do we keep them? Yes, we all know that it's 10 times harder to get new business than it is to maintain business. And so now we want to know, how do we maintain that business? Because these are the people that are really going to help us throughout the long term, is these clients that we already have. All right, so moving on to number 3 is sports. And this is also one of the biggest things that people are focused on, is what is the ROI? What is the return on the investment that I'm going to get from social media? And I think that we have a hard time gauging this, because it can be kind of intangible what the true value in is it. And I kind of thought this kind of relates to high school sports. Do we have any athletes here? Any sport? All right, we got wins. Some people played the sports in high school. All right, that's good. And how that they do that, I think we can learn a lot from. You know, even if you didn't go, even if you didn't participate in sports, you probably went to some during high school. You went to some sports, and there's things that we all remember. You know, we remember the gleam of a recently polished basketball court. We remember the fresh cut grass on the field. Some of us remember, you know, the pride of just leaving it all out on the field. But regardless of what it is, we do have some positive feelings there, you know, just hanging out with friends, of just participating and having this one shared experience. And that's really what the value was for it in us. And so the school, you know, when they determine, you know, well, what if they ask them, well, what's the ROI of our sports program? You know, it's really not just ticket sales, is it? You know, I mean, do they look at, well, you know, if we take the number of foam fingers sales and divide it by linemen, are we going to get or you know, maybe they say, well, if we have a better end zone dances, then maybe that'll help booster club sales. A lot of it is just a whole lot more intangible, and we need to kind of approach social media that way. That yes, there are some ways to measure it, but a lot of them are just something that you're going to kind of have to use your head for and just say, you know, do I feel, what's my gut telling me? Now, for the ways that we can measure, I want to give you a few ideas. The first one is look at your local competition. If every high school sports team looked at the Atlanta Braves as a guideline of, okay, how are we doing, they would be pretty depressed because they're a high school team. So don't always look at what the national brands and say, oh man, Best Buy has 1 million fans. I'm never going to get that. Why bother? Look at your local competition. How are they doing? What are their numbers? How many fans, followers, subscribers do they have? And then look at your customer engagement. And some of the social media outlets have gotten better at providing analytics on this. But looking at how do they respond to your questions? Do they respond to your questions? Do they submit comments? Do they contact you with the assumption that you were going to solve their problem? Because that shows a lot of faith that they're willing to say, yes, I have a problem. Help me with it. And we're going to go into that a little bit more. And then thirdly, incentives. Offer coupons, trials, giveaways. I mean, a lot of us spend money putting coupons in different publications and everything. You can do it here. You're not spending anything. But you're still going to get that measurable value of when people print it out and come in and say, this is where I heard it from. You're going to have some tangible evidence of what's working. And that's going to give you some of that ROI right there. All right, something I thought was an interesting quote was, over time, think about how it can be more than marketing. Think about how you can apply social media to support and service a physical, real-world customer experience and improve products and experiences. Social media it's growing so much more than what the little things it used to be. Now it has become of people's lives. Like we said, looked at that statistic earlier about all these websites incorporating it. It's not just about the one platform itself. It's just becoming a part of people's lives and how they share their lives and their experience. So our tip number 3 for that is ROI is only a single piece of the pie, and I promise that is the only rhyming tip I have for you. So please don't be expecting a lot of cliches coming up. ROI is only a single part of the pie. All right, our next one is market research, and I equate that with a student council because, again, ROI is only a single part of the pie, so now let's look at some of the other things that we can do with social media to give us some great, some bang for our buck, and one of those is market research. Now, a lot of small businesses, we don't have a lot of experience with market research because it's really expensive. It costs thousands of dollars to get good market research.
I did some when I walked in.
That's right.
That was free? No.
There you go. But there are ways of getting it through social media. And just like and it's important that we do that too, because just like the student council, these are elected officials, and they have to please their audience, and they have to know their audience in order to stay in their position. I think about prom. The student council's planning prom. If all the students are thinking we want Under the Sea theme, and then the student council says we're gonna name our prom Graveyard Nights, there's gonna be a disconnection, and some people are probably not going to get elected next year. So we need to know what are our customers really wanting, and so I've got 6 tips here, and I did not come up with them, and you got the reference there, and it's also on the blog who did. His name is Andrew Somozo, but I'm like, man, these are awesome, so we're going to talk about them. The first one is the infinite panel. You have so many people. There's no limit to the amount of participants you can have in your questions, in your market research. With a focus group, you usually have like 12 people, and there's a lot of logistical details. But with this, you can just throw it out there, and you'll be amazed at what kind of response you get. The second one is infinite survey. You're not limited by the amount of questions you can ask. You can just kind of peter them out, and then people are going to respond to that. It's not like a lot of traditional surveys where, and I'm sure we've all seen the survey, and we're like, oh yeah, I'll help out a survey, and then you see, there's like 40 questions. You're like, never mind. I'm not doing this. But with this, you can just throw out a question, a survey, how many people like this? And it may be about your product, So if you are selling jewelry or something, how many people are asking for a tennis bracelet for their husband for Christmas? Bam, 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 and asking those questions. And then you can ask a different one every day. You can ask one every week. And people aren't going to get as tired of it because it's not like they're sitting down and dedicating an hour and a half of my time to your questions. The third one is real time. And this is great because you don't have to wait for people to analyze the results. They're going to be able to just, you're going to see in real time how it's getting. So if you're debuting a new burger, the Habanero Supremo, and you have it out there, and then you ask, hey people, what do you think about this burger? Then you're going to get a response that if people say, well, I felt like my mouth was on fire for 6 hours, and you're going to be able to judge from that, and you're going to be able to modify the product in real time. You don't have to wait until the end of the month when your CPA calls you and is like, man, you sold like 6 of those. You don't have to wait. It's all real-time data. Fourth is revealing hidden insights. Because as people are using your products or using your services, they may uncover things about your products that you never knew but could be great. One thing is Gatorade. Gatorade was developed for athletes, but through just listening to their customers, they found out that a lot of moms were giving their kids Gatorade when they were sick to rebuild up those electrolyte counts. And so now they have a new revenue stream. Now they have a new way of marketing their product. And it's the same thing for us. You know, if a customer discovers that your lacquer is actually great for keeping away termites from their trees, it's like, hey, we got something we can work with there. And number 5 is customers can speak to you in their own words. And this is so important because sometimes we've got a great product, but because of the way we're phrasing things and the terminology we use, we're isolating our customer. And so when they give you responses, look at their words. Look at how they're describing. Think about, well, when they said they liked that product, look at what they liked about that product. Because we may think, hey, the best thing about product A is this. But when you're in your social media, your customers come back and they're saying, well, I like this. And so now when I make my next marketing effort, I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to talk about what they talked about. Because obviously my customers are telling me that's what's most important to them. And the final one is that more for less. I mean, the cost per entry is just so much lower than traditional market research firms. And you're just going to be able to just get your word out there. And so our tip is for that is social media provides insight into your customer. All right. Yearbook staff. Anyone on yearbook staff? I was on yearbooks. Yeah, all right, we got some yearbook people. Awesome. All right, and yearbook staff I'm going to equate with brand loyalty and brand recognition because this is also really important for all of us. Your average consumer can only name 6 brands from any particular industry. 6. And I mean, like, think about toothpaste. How many toothpaste brands can you name? Probably around 6, even though there's over 100 toothpaste brands. Yeah. So brand recognition, brand awareness is huge because we want people to think of us when they think of whatever it is you do. And social media is doing great with that. Loyalty Marketing Association actually did a survey, and social media came up as number 1 as what people are, when they are trying to find something new or something to try, that's where they go. They're going to go to Facebook and Twitter and say, hey, want to take the wife somewhere nice, where should I go? Or, hey, I'm looking for a new doctor, who's trustworthy? Or, I want to try a new recipe. I've even seen on Facebook people like, all right, I've got pancakes, milk, and chocolate chip cookies in the pantry. What can I make? And people will be like, oh, well, you can do this, and then, and it just, and so there's all kind of things. And so taking that yearbook lesson there, I want to say use superlatives. In yearbook, we all have superlatives. Maybe you were most likely to run a Fortune 500 company. Most likely to be married as soon as you graduate. Whatever. We've got the superlatives. What are the superlatives for your business? And you can look at your vision and values, and that's going to give you a lot of information on that. But what quality does your brand epitomize? Is it affordability, luxury, durability? If you can take your entire company and just kind of whittle it down to just a few words that you want your customers to associate with your brand, what would it be? And that should be embedded in most of your social media posts. so that when they think of you, they equate this. So if I'm looking for, let's say I'm building a deck and I am utterly clueless, and I just ask a friend, hey, I'm building a deck, I really don't know what I'm doing, and they say, oh, well, you need to try Home Improvement Store A, because Home Improvement Store A's Facebook is always talking about the knowledgeability of their staff and giving great tips on things, then that's a win for Home Improvement Store A. And notice that when I asked my friend, I didn't ask them, hey, I'm looking for a store that can sell me things. What would you advise me? I didn't say that. And really, as people, we don't do that. We're not really looking for, we're not talking in terms of brands. We are talking in terms of need. I have this. So if what he's really doing is he is equating my lack of knowledge and saying, well, who has a lot of knowledge? Home Improvement Store A. So they're establishing themselves as the expert, and so that's who I'm going to end up going to. Secondly, remember that time yearbooks, man, it's amazing. Like, anywhere else we saw that many cliches, we would just get sick. But when it's in your yearbook, you read that, and you're just like, those were the best times ever. We just have that great thing, and then we just think about the good times. And think about it, the yearbook, they don't have pictures of, the student crying after exams, knowing that he bombed it. There's no pictures of freshmen getting stuffed into lockers. It doesn't have that. It talks about the good times. And on our social media, that's what we got to do. We got to talk about the good times. And so you might post things that people aren't necessarily going to know just by shopping at your store. So let's say you sponsor the local T-ball team. You put a post about, hey, congratulations to, the Mini Tigers on your participation in this tournament. Sure, you came to last place, but we're proud of you. Or you post something about if you guys do a beach cleanup day for your company. Post before and after pictures of the beach or of the highway or whatever. People want to know that their local companies care about their community. The same thing goes for sustainability. If you're switching out your coffee mugs for a high quality paper cup that's going to dissolve you as soon as you stop drinking the coffee, then that's something you want to say, because the people who are into sustainability, they're like, wow, man, that brand connects with me. I need to go shop with them. And the last one is something specific about Facebook, and that's timeline. Facebook has this thing called Timeline, and it really just tracks different things within your company. And so any milestone that your company has, and it's retroactive, so even if it's in the past, you should post that on there. So whenever your start date was for your company, it should be on Facebook. When you got that award, it should be on Facebook, because that's going to build a lot more consumer trust, because they know, wow, that company's been there for 50 years. They must know what they're doing. Or they won that award. Sure, it was in 1998, but the fact that you've won an award is something that's good. And so all that should be listed on your timeline. And so my tip there is think like a yearbook. All right. Guidance counselors. Who had to see a guidance? No, I'm kidding. Don't answer that. Right, the guidance counselor, I think of with customer support. Customer support is so important to business. We all know that. But social media can be a great way to accomplish that. In fact, there was a survey done by Enterprise Use. What do you use social media for? And after marketing, the number 2 use was customer service. But for most small businesses, it's way much lower down there. So I think there's something that we can learn from the big boys, is that customer service should be really important for us. And I know that that can be very intimidating because we're afraid of some things that people may say on social media, and so I do want to speak to that too. That yes, you can't solve everything. And yes, people may post things that you don't like. Yes, people may be really mad at their ex-wife, but they take it out on you because they couldn't open up your peanut butter jar. Yeah, it's going to happen. And those people, they're usually going to call you anyway, whether you got social media or not. But there are some smart ways that we can go about handling all these things. And the first one, and your guidance counselor will tell you this, is that you just need to listen. You know, social media should be a two-way conversation. It shouldn't just be you just blah, blah, blah. Your customers should feel like you are going to listen to them. And the second one is complaints. Yes, you are going to get them. And my advice for you is embrace it. Embrace it. Because these people, often, they're not going to call. They're not going to contact you in other ways because they're like, well, I can't figure this out, and you know, I don't want to feel silly, and so I don't know if I really want to call them. But they may message you on Facebook. They may tweet it, because that's so much more anonymous feeling, isn't it? You know, where we can really ask questions, and that is something we want to be able to respond to. And oh, I didn't have my slide for that. All right, but here's a little survey that was done. Was when complaints were answered, 71% of people who got responses said they were more willing to recommend that company. 71%. The number drops to 19% when they said they didn't get a response. So it's not just, okay, ignoring the complaint, but it's actually answering it. And those people, I mean, you're going to build up so much consumer trust just by answering it. So think about it. Let's say that I buy product A at your store. And then I go home and I can, you know, it's like IKEA furniture. I cannot figure out how to put it together. It's just, you know, it's looking more like a tank than a crib. And I don't know what to do. So I contact you. I tweet out to you, hey, having some issues figuring out this crib, putting it together. And you respond by giving me some advice of, oh, well, actually, you'll be better off doing step E before you do step A, or something like that. You just give me some advice. And so I'm able to put it together. And so who am I really happy with? I'm not happy with the manufacturer. I'm happy with you, because I can get product A from all your competition. I can get it from 100 different places. I can get it from Amazon. I'm going to keep coming to you because you can solve my problems. Just like that guidance counselor. And that's really what we want, is we want people to solve our problems. And so you're going to build so much more consumer trust just doing that. And you can even apply what the complaints or the questions that you hear about on social media to your brick and mortar stores. So if a bunch of people are asking online, you know, hey, I'm having trouble with this, you know, I can't figure it out, then when you see someone buying it in your store, then you can just say, oh, hey, I know you're leaving with this product. I just want to let you know something real quick about it, that it's a little bit harder to put together than the instructions. Here's a sheet that we have. Here are clear instructions. Or you may want to pick up this kind of wrench because it's going to make your life a lot easier with this product. So you're able to take what you learned online and apply it to real, you know, right physical stuff. And, you know, again, your customer's going to love you for it.
Pardon me. Can we ask a question?
Sure.
How do you prompt that? How do you get customer service going?
Well, some people, they're going to approach you first. But just like that market research, asking questions about it, especially with new products. We just got new product in. We've seen a bunch of you buy it. What do you think so far? And then people are going to tell you, well, you know, the first 2 hours of putting it together were not great. You know, or I turned this on the side and it all fell apart. You know, so asking those smart questions, that's going to give you a lot of good feedback. Anything else on that one? Nope. All right. Oh, so your tip was happy customers equals happy business. All right, the next one is cheerleaders, and I kind of give that to the PR. Marjorie, are you okay with that comparison, or?
This is what you are. Wish I looked like that, but.
But yeah, you know, PR. That's kind of what we're doing. As you know, you are the cheerleader for your business. And the cheerleaders, you know, they do a lot of things for us, and even when the game is going poorly, the cheerleaders will charge forward with enthusiasm and optimism to inform you that your team is indeed the best, and the other team is UGLY, and they have no alibi. You know, they're going to let you know. They're going to just give you all the information. They're going to pump you up, and we need to pump our customers up about our brands. And so the first one is get the word out. You know, if you got stuff going down, you know, we've talked about a lot about this, all this great stuff going on. Social media is easy to share. You know, it's one thing if people read it in the newspaper and they're like, wow, that's good information to know. But if they read it through your social media, then all they got to do is hit like, share, retweet. One click, and your message has gone out to all their friends. That easy. So get the word out. You know, yes, put it in the paper, but don't ignore it on social media. Put it on social media as well. A second one is you can put out fires a lot faster. You don't have to wait on an editor to get back to you about putting out a press release for it. It's immediate. And especially if you've already been working hard on building consumer trust with your company. So if something bad happens, you already have that build up, but then you can answer it very quickly through social media. So somebody finds a tentacle on their burger. And they put out on social media, what's going on with this tentacle? Then you can immediately respond. Well, actually, tentacles have a lot of fiber, and it's very healthy for you. You know, you can respond to it that much quicker. You know, or if people have a problem, like, hey, you know, that smart refrigerator you sold me is telling me I can't open it until the treadmill gives approval. You know, that's a problem, and people are gonna talk about you on social media, whether or not you have a presence. You just get to be a part of the conversation if you do. And so they have that problem when you can come back, well, the refrigerator was operating under doctor's orders. So I'm sorry, you do need to get on the treadmill. But you can put out those fires a whole lot faster because social media is immediate. What they're putting out is immediate. You've got to be able to respond immediately. And the third one is, get ranked. Because this is going to help with your search engine optimization efforts. Social media and getting ranked on Google is just becoming so much more intertwined, more and more every day. And so when you've got reviewers or media people or you know, journalists or bloggers, all these people are usually going to have pretty high standings on search engines. And so to interact with them on social media, because they're all on social media, they're going to be able to share your information too, and they're going to be able to give you backlinks and other really valuable things that's going to help your rankings on Google. So socializing with the public on their terms will help you on social media. All right, bands. All right, any band people? No. Wow. What did you guys do during high school? Y'all were all focusing on getting A's, weren't you? Y'all were all like studying real hard and like, oh, I'm gonna do something. All right. So band, I want to say is focus, because too often we just get, you know, like today you may hear a lot of information and you're like, man, I'm gonna get involved in social media and I'm gonna do Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, I'm going to do it all. And I want to just say, please don't. I was in band. I played drums from 5th grade to 10th grade. And it was at that time that I came to the conclusion that I had no talent. And so I stopped. But I think, what if I had tried to play not just the drums, but the saxophone and the trumpet and the clarinet? I would have been just that much more worse, because the practice I did have would have been split between 4 instruments instead of 1, and I would have been even more unsuccessful. And so I want to encourage you, you know, pick what works and stay with it. Don't get into everything, because then you're just not going to get anything done. I mean, if you've got the funds to contract out and have someone do it, then great, but if you're doing it yourself, just pick what works. And so choose wisely the social media outlets that you do want to use. You know, is it going to be Facebook and Twitter, which are very inclusive and everybody's on? Or maybe it needs to be a little bit more focused. If you're B2B, then going on LinkedIn is probably a really good fit for you. If your demographic is like 80% women, then maybe you need to be on Pinterest, and that needs to be the one that you really hammer, because Pinterest has like 80% female on it. So these are the kind of things that you got to think about. Maybe it's something even more niche, because you've got a very niche audience. And there's some social media out there that man, they're after just one small. They're after fishermen, you know, in New England, and it's just for them. You know, there's all kinds of really niche social medias out there, and just taking some time to research, make a decision, and you can be making some sweet music with that. So do a few things well. I think that applies to almost anything in life, actually. We can philosophize on that later. All right. So last one is chess club.
Oh, listen.
All right, chess club. I did chess club for a very short period. You know, our school had it, but just didn't have it very long. And I thought I was really good. I was like, you know, man, I'm able to beat my younger sister, so I must be good. And so I kind of thought that. And then we had chess club. I joined the chess club, and one day I played the foreign exchange student. He killed me. Like, it was like this annihilation. Like, I didn't even recognize what he was doing on that board. I'm like, no, pawn over here, pawn over there. And then he's like building up like this complex structure in a corner or something. And you know, he was 8 moves ahead of me. I didn't know what was going on, and he killed me. And so the tip I want to do there on that one is not the pieces that matter, is how you use them. Because we all, both me and that guy had the same pieces we were dealing with. But he just knew them so much better than I. And so we need to be able to learn from that and to use that. You know, a lot of people think, well, you know, as long as I post frequently, I'm okay. And really, I think we need to focus more on the quality side of it. In fact, more recent studies have shown that, you know, people don't necessarily want to hear from you every day if you're giving them useless information. You know, quantity without quality just doesn't really buy you much. So if that means you're posting every other day instead of every day, do it, as long as you're putting out quality material. You know, just like you would never dream of starting a $20,000 TV ad campaign without putting some thought into it, put some thought into this. Yes, Facebook is free, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't get any of your time in creating a strategy on what you want to accomplish through it. So put some, you know, some thoughts into it. I'm really not going to talk about this much because most of us are just not in a position to use any of these, but these are just some of the ways that different companies organize their social media strategies. You've got decentralized, where, you know, everyone just kind of does their own thing. Centralized, they report to some of the communications to do it, but most of us are small businesses, so it's probably going to fall. You know exactly who's going to fall on. But you know, I thought maybe there might be some people in some national brands, and this could be helpful to you. But what we need to do is make sure that we keep a close eye on our analytics, because they are going to be one of our best measuring sticks. If you don't, Facebook has analytics, your website has analytics. So, well, all social media is now giving you more and more analytics. YouTube just completely redid their analytics, worthwhile looking at. And they will tell you what posts really resonate with your audience. So you need to look at each posting, you know, what was the virality of it? How many people did it reach? And look at those things. And then that's going to help you find what really resonated with your audience. So if you made a post about, you know, how you're having your Saturday sale, and you see a lot of people share it, then you know, okay, these people care about sales. I need to post more about that. If you say, hey, you know, here's a funny picture of my dog Sparky, you know, eating a hamburger in the kitchen, haha, you know, and you get a negative response, or nobody shares it, with that happening. A lot of people share it because that's totally against health code. But if you share something, there's no response, no shares, that tells you, well, this is not something my audience cares about, and so I need to not talk about this that much. You know, this is how we learn what's relevant and what's not. And sometimes it's not even the product that's the problem, but maybe how you phrased it. And that goes back to what we talked about earlier. And when your customers are talking to you, they're communicating with you, what kind of terminology are they using? And then you kind of feed that back to them. And so you put time into your sales pitch, in your menu, and so your marketing efforts should reflect that as well. set goals for all the things that we talked about. So you may look at it and say, okay, customer service is now going to be a priority. What do we want to accomplish with customer service on our social media platform? So you may say we're going to say it's not going to take us longer than 24 hours to respond to any complaint or any concern of our clients. For your PR, it may be that you're going to start doing a bio on an exemplary employee to build consumer trust, and they think that you're to become the expert in your industry. For market research, it may be, okay, I'm going to ask one product-related question a week, or maybe like a service-oriented question. How long, do people get to you? Do people help you when you came into the store? And then read up on that and see, okay, this is the response I'm getting. This gives me action steps on what I need to do next. My final tip. Oh, well, yeah. One thought on the future. I thought this was fascinating. He said, social business design is what the focus should be. The role of a social strategist will change over time from being focused primarily on marketing communications to one focused on how to inject social architecture and business principles across the enterprise. So eventually we're going to see social media touch every part of our business. Just like we talked about, it's going to touch customer support, it's going to touch market research, it's going to touch every part of our business. And so we just got to prepare ourselves for that, because it used to be a one-way street. We communicate to customers, and they really didn't have any way of communicating back. And consumers they don't want to do that anymore. They want to feel like they have a voice. They want to feel like they can talk back to us. And social media gives them that. So the last tip is, come next month, because we're going to have even more great things for you. Thank you very much. We do have some time for some questions. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Yes.
I went to something that the city put on one time, and one of the speakers, it was one of the ones that you go in the ballroom of the Civic Center, and the speaker said, sign up everybody that you can possibly sign up and befriend everybody. And so I'm like, okay. And so I befriended people, and now I've got people on my Facebook. I don't know these people. I don't care about them. I don't know what they do